So I'm really excited to bring you this video. It's myself with Collin Morikawa. It was filmed out in Maui, in Hawaii, and I was out there with Adidas at the Century Tournament, and I got some access to Collin on the Monday afterwards. So we talked about the basic greenside chip. We were going down quite a steep slope, so you can see how he manages that. Talking about some of his setup and swing basics. And then we headed into the bunker, where we talked about the standard splash shot, and then how you adapt. So when it's a little bit tighter, how do you change your release, and how do you still get a strike when there's a little bit less sand in the bunker? So a couple of shots that we all need when we play golf, the basic greenside chip and the splash shot. Let's get stuck into it.
Hi, I'm Dan Grieve, delighted to be here in Hawaii with two-time major winner Collin Morikawa. And we're going to talk short game and hopefully give you some tips you can take onto your own game. So, Collin, we're going to work on two basic shots today. First, a basic chip shot down to that back pin. There's about 25 feet of green to work with, and then we'll play a bunker shot.
Perfect.
So, just firstly, I think a lot of amateurs, they don't really visualise and sort of look at the shot in hand. Tell me, when you get to your ball and your caddy sort of puts the bag down, what do you first look at in terms of visualisation?
First thing's always lie.
Yeah.
You know, you have to see what the lie is going to determine if you're going to be able to hit it high, low, spin, no spin. That's the biggest thing. But then you got to see about just kind of, I like to picture it as if I were going to throw a ball, right? Where would I kind of throw it? How would it release to the hole?
Yeah. And
just keep that imagination, creativity out there. So if I were to, you know, picture a little shot tracer, throw it out there, lands a little bit short of the slope, runs out to the pin.
Cool.
And it doesn't have to be exactly precise. If you focus, I think, too much on a small spot, you get a little bit too tense. You know, people like working with little hula hoop rings or, you know, a towel.
Do you like to see
that's really
zone?
big.
A zone. And also like
zone's big.
The trajectory as well.
Zone's
what
big.
flights you're going in at.
Yeah, because if you can't see the trajectory, I actually like to see the shot from the side.
Okay.
Because that gives me a lot of angles to be able to see, okay, well, does this actually make sense trying to hit a 60 this low? Does it going to release?
Yeah.
Can I hit it that high?
So in a way, you're asking yourself questions. If I hit it there, what will it do? If I hit it there, what will it do?
Exactly, and I see it the best from the side.
Okay, brilliant. So we've done that, and we've selected the club. In this situation, it's quick, it's downhill.
Yep.
So you've gone for a 60.
Yeah, I've gone for a 60. It's the club I take most often. I like to mainly chip with my 60 unless I really have to chip with something else. This one's got a little bit of slope right into us, and like you said, it's going to run away right after. So this one's going to require a little bit more of a square face type shot, check into the upslope, and then kind of release forward. So it's ball position. I like a very narrow stance. If anything, I actually like to be a little bit closed. Just helps me kind of pivot off my left side. And then we're going to stay forward, keep the hands forward, and leave it about 50 feet short. So we're going to try that again. We're going to try and land it closer to the hole.
That's good. So if you set up this one, Collin, just stop. Nice shot. Good. So just set up to it and just pause, yeah.
Yep.
I think what people can learn from here is just how lovely and level your shoulders are. I see a lot of amateurs have big tilt.
Yeah, they want to hit it. They want to hit it up high, and I think when you trust that the club has loft, that's the best thing you could really go for.
Yeah, and I've also noticed as well just how relaxed you're holding it. That the grip pressure is nice and relaxed.
Yeah, I think if it's too tight, you're scared of the ground. I think people grip it tighter when they're scared to hit the ground.
No anxiety there, yeah.
So it's just trusting that this club is going to just nicely graze the grass. You know, you don't want to be making big divots like that.
Yeah, sure.
You want to just be able to kind of sweep the ground.
And in terms of when you're swinging, are there any key thoughts when you're practicing, or any bits that you're looking out for in your practice?
For me, it's actually to keep my head high. You know, it's wherever I start, I don't want to go down. You don't want to shorten the length of your shot. When people always go down and they make it shorter, the only way to get out is they're going to chunk it or they're going to blade it because they're scared.
And everyone says my head came up, but what they're doing is they're reacting.
They're reacting to it. Their head came up because they went down. But if you can kind of keep your head on a swivel really high up and just not make it move, you can kind of go from there. And if you keep your head still, you can just rotate your body. You never have to be scared of the ground.
That's perfect. Good. So one more. And hold the finish this time. And I love this as well. I think people can learn from how connected you are with your chest, the hands, and the club head.
Yeah.
Everything is beautifully connected, and the buddy grip at the left hip there. So you haven't released it too much.
Chest moves everything. You know, you see us a lot when we finish. We're just kind of like that.
Putting it in the holster.
It's just because like everything's moving there. It's as if I were going to throw it. I'm not going to throw it like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to just kind of like naturally, softly throw it out there.
Yeah, sure. That's good. Right, should we head to the bunker?
Let's see it.
Okay, Collin. So we've moved into the bunker, and I've played a lot of amateur golfers as you have over the years, and it's a shot that really just puts so much fear into them, and it shouldn't do really. So I want you to sort of set up to it and just talk me through some of your key points, particularly in that setup before we hit some.
Yeah, well, I think amateurs are really scared of the sand. I mean, I can understand being scared of, you know, the grass and bouncing back, this is what we want to do. So with bunkers, I like a wider stance. If anything, I like to be slightly closed. So bunker shots, wedge shots, chip shots, I like to be slightly closed just because I want to feel rotation. But face is normally square on a lot of shots. I'm going to open this a lot more up. I like the ball front of the stance. I like to almost brace out my knees outward,
apart, yeah.
because what I want that is to rotate. If your knees buckle and you go down, you're changing the level again. You never want to change the level. So I want to wide, buckle out, and then I'm going to be hitting that shot from here.
Nice, really good. Great, so if you set up to this one again there, there's a great noise there as well. Do you hear that splash, that bounce? So if you set up to that ball again now, and some of the things I think amateurs can really learn from is actually just how much this left foot is flared out.
Yeah.
And your knee is pushing over that foot as well. So you've got probably, I don't know, 70, 80% of your pressure looks like it's really forward here. And you look really down.
Yeah, I'm actually not as forward as what you think. I'm probably about like 60-40.
Yeah.
But everyone's got that balance. You have to continue going to your left side.
But you look like you're really down in the sand.
You want to sit.
Which gives you that ability
I
to
practice
stand,
a lot with an 8-iron, with 7 irons out of bunkers, because
Yeah.
it teaches you how to keep the face open.
Yeah, sure.
I'm so used to closing it. Not that I do it on purpose, but the bowed wrist closes it. Bunkers are opposite. You need it to stay open throughout the entire shot.
Do you think that's a challenge sometimes for elite players as well, is where what's good in long game hurts you in short game and bunker play to a degree?
Exactly. It's a big part of all my approaches, all my irons has definitely hurt me in my short game, and I've had to learn how to adapt. It might not be how the majority does it, but you find your ways to figure it out.
Yeah.
So same thing here, wide stance.
And if you can hear that noise at home, I mean, that's just the noise of the bounce there, just hitting the sand and sliding. It's the sand that's exploding that ball up.
Yep.
Beautiful. What would you do from a tighter lie? So let's say we've got a lie where there's a little bit less sand.
Yeah, I think
you'd adapt?
It's understanding the bounce. So like I said, normal bunkers, good amount of sand, you can open it up, it's going to bounce underneath the club. If you're off really tight lies and it's like hitting off a cart path,
it's going to kick, yeah?
Rocks, it's going to kick right off. So what you do is you don't open it as much, and you almost like to swing a little steeper, get down, and you want to get underneath the ball because you know it's going to pop up. Last thing you want to do, use the bounce, and it blades all over because it doesn't get underneath the ground here. So not as open, going to swing a little steeper, a little bit more left.
Great.
And
Great
just
shot.
kind of pop it up there.
Fantastic versatility to adapt to every lie.
You
and
have
you
to.
notice there the divot there's deeper. Like after the ball, the divot's got deeper, whereas the first shot, it was more level.
Almost using the leading edge to get underneath the ground. Normally on bunkers, you don't need the leading edge. You want the bounce because you're going to swing hard enough underneath it.
But you've had the IQ to read the lie and adapt, and that's what short game is all about. So brilliant. Thanks for that, Colin. Best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you so
and
much.
Hopefully you've learned something at home there.
Appreciate it.
All right, cheers.
So if you enjoyed the video, you took some useful points from it. I think the key things there in terms of the chip and run were just how soft his arms were hanging. When I was just with him there, I just noticed his arms were so relaxed. And you look at great short game players, the arms always have that softness in the elbows. They never really bolt straight. So that was the first thing you can really take from that, was the soft arms. Also, just how nice and level his shoulders were. He didn't have this big tilt, which I see a lot of amateurs doing, which really makes the golfer struggle with the low point in the swing. So the shoulders were nice and level, the arms were soft, and you saw that narrow stance, the ball position kind of just back of centre there. And he's using his 60. That's the club that he likes to use. He's very talented golfer. He can use a 60. Also, it was really downhill, so kind of a lofty club was the shot to use. But remember, this technique is totally transferable to every iron in your bag. If you want to spin it less, use less loft. The ball will run more. If you want to spin it a bit more, use more loft. But the technique stays the same. Also, in terms of his swing, you'll notice how it all matched up. I pointed out how it had the chest, the hand and the club head were all in sync in the follow through, and the butt of the grip pointing at that left tip. That's what I call release one, okay? That's the chip and run release. So that's the finish you want to be holding and looking for when you're practicing that shot. When we moved into the sand, I liked his base, nice and wide, really looked like he was down and solid. And it was quite interesting how he stood a little bit closed, okay? And a lot of good players do this because, as he said, it helps him feel like he can turn onto the ball this way. You know, figure out for yourself what works for you. I quite like square, but if you feel like you've been a little bit more closed, a little bit more turning onto it, that helps you do that, then give that a go as well. And also how he adapted for the lie. When it was sat down on that hard pan, he just moved a little bit more in front and he just hit a little bit more down, okay, making sure that leading edge didn't kick, okay, the leading edge stayed down to get that strike. And the spin was still very similar for both shots. So simple little adjustment to still get the control from different lies out in the sun. So hopefully you learned a lot from the video, and it'll help your own golf.